So, for those of you who have watched the FX Hulu adaptation of Shogun, one of my personal favorite actors in that was the actor who played the villain Bushido, and that is Takehiro Hira. And I commented on how he just has such a great villain face. It's almost just like a resting pissed off look. But he's really just an excellent actor. And actually he's the son of Mikijiro Hira. This was the start of Dre Outlaw Samurai, I reviewed that, and Sword of the Beast, which I have yet to review. So I was kind of curious if he was in any other films. And eventually I was led to the 2013 film Bushido, also known as Shundo. And I'll just say it was definitely a surprising film, and you'll see why. But before I get into it, just know that this film was given to me by SamuraiDVD.com, and this is for purpose of review. And this really is just an excellent site. You really won't find any of these samurai films anywhere else, so this is your one-stop shopping. And forget streaming these anywhere, you just won't find them. But if you're more into digital media, then the site could also email you a copy as well. You just have to let them know. And as an added bonus, you could use the discount code Bushido Blues at checkout. So the title of the film, Bushido, is really the international title. But the Japanese title is Shundo, and this means duplicity, which is pretty much the opposite of what Bushido means. And when you watch it, the Japanese title is more so fitting, because it really is an anti-Bushido film. And I did mention that the actor Takehiro Hira is in this film, but he also has a big role in the film Sekigahara, which I also reviewed, and also, like I mentioned, Shogun. But when you watch this, you could tell that he's definitely younger looking. I guess 12 years could really just put a number on someone. It seems like he aged a lot, unfortunately. And he definitely became meaner looking. But he really does have just a great screen presence in everything I've seen him in. So it's no wonder that they did choose him for Shogun, and I'm glad they did. Hopefully that boosts his career and we could get him in more stuff. So there's definitely a lot of characters in this story, so just try to keep up. I'll give you a quick summary. So the story takes place in 1735. This is 3 years after the Great Famine of Kyoto. The feudal domain of Inaba seemed to have regained a semblance of stability at this point. However, the Lord Deputy, this is Minayoshi Araki, he receives a report that Matsumiya was dispatched from the shogunate to Inaba as an instructor of swordsmanship. But sensing that there's something wrong, Araki orders his right-hand man, this is Taigo Funase, and this is to keep an eye on Matsumiya. Also residing in the Inaba domain is the swordmaster named Harada, and he's played by the excellent Takehiro Hira. There's also a young samurai named Kagawa, and his older sister Yuuki. We find out that they lost their father when they were very young. In fact, he gave his life to save the clan, but his son seems to have some resentment for what happened. Next, Funase reports to Araki that he has acquired a secret letter, and this is by Matsumiya to the shogunate. The letter secretly states that he has discovered all about the Inaba domain. Araki also hears that the shogun's envoy is fast approaching the domain. If the envoy is able to meet up with Matsumiya, the Inaba domain will surely be eradicated by the shogunate. So this leaves Araki just desperate to save the clan, and it may be by any means necessary. So I was pretty satisfied with the story overall. It's pretty complicated, but it is interesting. You basically have a domain that's gonna do whatever it can to survive. And this includes betrayals and setups. And I would like to mention the spoilers, but it really is just crucial to the overall plot. And if you plan on seeing this, you don't want it spoiled for you. But I will say that things do change a lot in the second half of the film. But there's really an interesting statement in this about Bushido and just the samurai code. And it really just makes you question it. And I really found the character of Kagawa interesting in this. He's one of the students that fights as if he's in a real battle. And this is really to ignore a lot of the samurai codes of honor. And it pretty much points out if you want to win a battle in real life, you kind of have to fight differently than the samurai code of honor. And sort of reminded me of the sport kendo and how it really isn't like real life fighting. Because in real life, you're not just fighting to score points, it's to survive. And I really just liked how this film raised a question on fighting to win versus just fighting honorably. You know, what's the better choice? And there really was some great characters in this with some pretty interesting backstories. I will say though that I was a little confused the first time I watched it. Like I said, the first half of the film is very slow. It's very dialogue heavy. So just expect plenty of scenes of just two samurai just sitting and talking. You know, we should be used to that by now in these samurai films, but I will say there is a lot of it in this. But luckily for this film, in the end it does pay off. And the movie's just filmed beautifully. There's quite a few just great looking winter landscapes with snow. I always love snow in samurai films. And this really would make a great film to put on, you know, the next time there's a snowstorm. Or even just now in the hot summer months. It could definitely cool you off. But I will say I do wish that there was more color. They sort of use a high contrast brightness, and it almost gives the film a black and white look. In fact, the first time I put it on, I thought it was in black and white. So some more color definitely would have just helped make the picture look even better. But you could really compare this film to Samurai Rebellion, or even Harakiri. And this is because it deals with just an injustice in the samurai code. And like with those films, it has an explosive ending relating to that. But like I said, the first 50 minutes of this film are just very slow. But just right at that 50-minute mark, there's a death that happens. I won't spoil it. But right after that, the film gets much better. And from there to the end, it just ramps up. This is where we get all the action. And a surprisingly prolonged fight. It definitely was a nice surprise. But I still will say it's not the best choreography. I've definitely seen better. And I really just wish it had more blood. You know, there's moments where people were stabbed up close and there's no mark at all on them. You know, it definitely just cheapens the effect. And the one blood spurt that we do get, it's pretty pathetic. But overall, I did enjoy this film. It was just great seeing a younger Takehiro Hira, and he's definitely becoming an actor that I'm gonna look for. And I feel like he did a really great job as the character of Harada, just this really skilled swordsman. I also like some of the other characters like Kagawa, just how tragic he was and how he sort of was the inverse of Bushido. And like with Samurai Rebellion, this is an anti-Bushido film. So maybe that reflects in the Japanese title. But again, the slow pacing in the beginning and the lack of blood and polish to the fights definitely are my only problems with the film. But besides that, I'll definitely have to mention this film more. So once again, if you want to get this film, it's on SamuraiDVD.com. Don't forget to use the discount code Bushido Blues at checkout. And like always, thanks for watching.